And people at home, we're just going to take a couple of minutes to arrive in the space. What does that mean? That may mean for some of us it's the quietest we've been all day, or the stillest. Give yourself permission for the next 55 minutes, an hour. This is your hour, so please remember, you can do as much or as little of the practice. Find anything's too much, too strong, if there's pain, pause, stop, even skip a pose if you need to. Let's just arrive in the space. Take a couple of minutes just to allow the breath and the body to settle. Welcome. Okay, yogis, I'd like you to take just 5 more slow breaths in your own time. Just 5 slow breaths, either through the mouth or through the nostrils. Just our aim, our intention is just to see if we can follow each breath as best we can. Now let's take a deep breath in and out together, yogis. As you exhale, your eyes were closed, just gently opening the back into the room, just slowly and gently. Move our fingers and our toes slowly and gently. And wiggle, stretch into fingers and toes. Follow that, if you can, by untying the knots in your wrists and ankles. And again, these are small rotations, little rotations, ankle, wrist joints in both directions. Untie the knots there. Whilst you do this, just take some nice, deep, even breaths through mouth or nose. Keep the breath relaxed and even as best you can. And when you feel ready to, you're just going to take the arms overhead gently and bring the legs together and flex the toes towards us, push our heels away. Just get that first real stretch of the evening. The arms feel they can't go overhead, then why not take them out to the side, yogis, if easier. Reaching, sense of just stretching into the whole body, and enjoy, again, several deep breaths as you stretch into the whole body. Practice tonight is an excellent way to unwind after a long day. You've had a busy day or a couple of days. Very good for freeing stress, aiding digestion and sleep. Those are the sort of things poses that complement those things. Just bring the arms back down slowly to the sides. With our eyes open, we'll just hug the knees into the chest firstly, yogis. Just drawing the knees in aids digestion. It's like giving yourself a big internal hug. And feel free to just rock gently. Just take a few deep breaths here. Down the middle. Very good for low back, as well. More completely to support us. Okay. I'm going to roll onto one side, yogis, and come up very slowly to standing. I'm just going to put one light on. So make your way up to standing when you're ready. I'll keep you down there any longer. You know you're going to fall asleep. So we're firstly going to do a forward bend, okay? So very often in yoga we talk about how we need to lengthen the hamstrings, but people don't often realise we need to strengthen them as well. The two go hand in hand. So I'm going to just stand with the feet about hip width apart. I'll profile myself to the side so you can see. And if you've got low back issues, and you're going to have a little micro bend in those knees, so don't lock the knees, just have a tiny micro bend in those knees. It supports all the layers of muscle here and in the low back. And we're going to hold on to alternate elbows. We'll try a nice gentle version. And the aim is to hinge forwards, yogis, from your hips. This is the area from your hips. So your knees are soft, coming down. And just have a go at holding on to alternate elbows first. So keep those knees bent. Let the crown of the head come towards the floor. And gaze towards your upper thighs and knees. Keep those knees bent if you need to. Of course, you can straighten them, but remember, don't lock them. So if you've got a strong back, straighten the legs, don't lock the knees though. If your low back is slightly vulnerable, keep that micro bend in the knees. It's almost as if gravity is pulling you down. The crown of the head wants to come towards the floor. And if possible, hold that for another four deep breaths, yogis. Bend those knees a little bit. You may find you can come further down. Think about the crown of the head coming towards the earth. Nice, deep, even breaths. Absolutely fine to bend the knees as much as you need to. And this is a gentle version of what we call a deep forward bend. Now, if you want to go a little further, you've got an option, yogis. There's always an option. You can either keep holding on to alternate elbows, or you can let the hands go. And if you think you can bring the fingertips down towards the floor in line with the toes, do so. Or rest the hands on the shins. Keep the knees bent if you need to. But just see if you can slide down that a little bit further. If that's too tricky tonight, keep holding on to those alternate elbows. 3 more deep breaths if you can. If you prefer to have the hands again, holding on to alternate elbows, go back to that. That may suit you to see. Nice deep breathing. Gaze towards the upper thighs, and again, just keep the legs strong, but knees bent. Excellent. Now we're going to come up together, so let's just take care here. I want you to plug the tummy muscles in, pull them in softly. Release the hands. Take your hands to your hips, bend the knees deeply, and rise up slowly to protect that low back all the way to the Lovely. You come up slowly and gently, especially when we're working with our backs. Stand in what we call Tadasana. It means the mountain pose. It's excellent for postural alignment. How we stand is said to affect our mood, our thinking, even our breathing. So although we don't stand like this ordinarily, we're just going to have the palms facing forwards, feet about hip width apart. And let's just focus ahead as if we were looking towards an imaginary horizon. Take a moment to shift the weight from foot to foot until you feel as if you've re-centered. So it's a nice way just to re-center. Most of us stand on one side. Let's face it, we do that, don't we? Including myself. So it's a way of just re-centering. So spreading the weight evenly across both feet. It's going to help with our posture, may even help with our mood and our thinking. And it's as if we're upright in mind and body. Relax the face. Perhaps tonight we feel we can close the eyes for a moment. If we don't want to, we softly look ahead. So all these lights have gone out, but swimming is coming on, so it's quite nice. Just softly stand and breathe. And just take 3 deep breaths. Feel free to keep moving the feet until you feel the balance across the feet, the weight evenly across the feet. And we don't do this very often, but just think the next time you're in a queue at the supermarket or bus stop or wherever, take a moment to simply stand and breathe. Wonderful for the skeleton, it's wonderful for your posture, and you may even just notice that your breathing changes because you're standing more evenly, more upright. Brilliant. Now with that lovely place of quietening that you've achieved, we're just going to have a little balance. So take the weight onto the leg that feels for you in this moment the more steady leg, the leg that you, the go-to leg I always call it, the leg that you know is the stronger leg. And just place the weight into that leg. And we'll do this in bite-sized chunks so it's not too overwhelming. Take the opposite foot and could we just today rest it on top of the balancing foot? If we wobble, we can come back to Tadasana. It's our sort of go-to place. We're just practicing one foot on top of the other. And if it helps, yogis, perhaps just bring the hands to the hips. Find a focal point ahead of you on the floor if you can. These beautiful patterns, even in this room, how the wood is a little bit different in places. Perhaps there's something you can find to focus on. And that's going to aid you in your concentration. Breathe into the standing leg. As soon as we wobble or we get tired, leg gets heavy, we can come back to Tadasana, recenter. We can switch sides. And if we're really wobbly today, feel free to go to one of the walls or pillars. Hands on the hips if that helps. Find your focus friend ahead of you on the floor maybe. Just something that catches your eye can just help you. Balance is really good for concentration and focus. Said to improve our memory and stamina and strength. We start slowly and then come back to Tadasana. And if you found that not too difficult, you can go up a notch. You've got the option to go back to one foot on top of the other, or just bring the sole of that foot to rest on the inner standing leg. Immediately we open up our hips. We're opening into this knee. And perhaps we want to bring the hands into what we call the prayer position, or back to the hips if that's more steady. Looking along the floor ahead of the body, find your point of focus, whatever it may be. Breathe all the way down to that standing. There. And wobbling is normal, by the way. If you're not wobbling, you're not. So all of us tend to find one side, don't we, easier than the other. So again, when the leg gets tired, just have a go on the other side. Sole of the foot resting on the inner left calf, or on top of the other. Brilliant. Aim to keep the bent knee nice and open, so opening into your hips. So this is a hip open as well. Find that point of focus. Don't forget to breathe. And then release. Well done. Good. Okay, one to practice at home while the cat is falling over. So we're going to try just a really classic pose. Let's do triangle. If you're feeling a little bit fatigued and tired, let's just take the legs wide, yogis. Sideways on our mats. Toes and ankles facing forwards. Another hip opener. Great for toning our legs. And can I ask you to turn your right foot out, but leave the left foot facing forwards? Take your socks off if you want to, but keep them on if you want to. As long as you're on a non-slip mat, you'll be fine. So let's just take the arms to shoulder height. I ask you to have a look and just make sure they both start the same line as the shoulders. So they may not stay there, but at least that alignment's there. Breathe in. Take the right hand down just below the right knee or above it, not pressing in. And then very gently, we've got the option to look up towards the left palm, which is facing forwards. Or we can look straight ahead. Or we can look down towards the mat. 3 options. Work with what feels good for your spine. Stay 4 deep breaths. Just make sure the front foot is out, ideally 90 degrees. That helps. Look up, straight ahead, down towards. Just working with the neck. You are looking up towards the left hand, just take care. And aim for another deep breath, yogis. If you can, come out of the pose if you need to. When you're ready to come out, bend the front knee a little bit, plug the tummy muscles, pull them in softly, and raise up slowly. Well done. Now release the arms. I'm going to stay on the right side. I'm going to ask you to turn the left foot in. Turn so your hips and shoulders are facing that right leg. So we turn the body in, turn the back leg in. We're now facing the right leg. Just make sure that you turn the back foot out enough so that the back heel is anchored down. And as you bend the front knee, you can get a gentle stretch in that back calf. How wide you go is up to you. So as you bend this front knee, I want you to make sure that you can still see the top of your sock or the top of your big toe in second. So the front knee is tracking forwards. Again, make sure the back heel is grounded down. It sounds obvious, but it's important. And our hips and shoulders are square to the front. We're going to raise the arms on an inhale and come into a warrior pose. Arms can be touching, or they can be slightly apart. If they're together, cross the thumbs over if you wish to. It helps to keep the arms together. And we're looking up and gently back so we create a little back bend. And we're also stretching from the belly button up to the throat. So the front and the back of the spine and chest get this lovely stretch. Now, if that's too strong, have arms facing. And look forwards instead. Your spine's doing a lot of the work and your legs. So don't feel you have to look up. Aim for 4 deep breaths. I want you to all look at your front knee. If, again, just make sure it's tracking forwards. It's always doing its own thing, isn't it? So it's just that little bit of a line up. Just look down and think, yeah, realign my knee if I need to. Aim for 2 more deep breaths if you can. Now we're going to work at the hamstrings. We're going to go for a little shoulder opener now. When you take another deep breath in, as you exhale, just release the arms, take them behind you, and clasp hold of alternate elbows or wrists. So if you can't reach the elbows, don't worry, can't reach. So hold on to the wrists, Laura. Now again, just keep the hips square to the front. And we're going to fold forward. So again, it's that hinging action from the hips. We're going to breathe in. Now I'm keeping my front knee bent. You can straighten it as you come forwards and down. Gaze towards the knee and then straighten the front leg if you wish to, but keep it slightly bent if that's more comfortable. If you feel you're a little bit wide, just walk the back foot in slightly. And as you fold down, again, the action comes from the hips, yogis. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, grasp hold of the elbows if you can, look towards that knee. This is a shoulder opener, it's a forward bend, and it's a hamstring stretch. So there's a lot going on. Turn the back foot out, you'll find that more stabilizing. You're wobbling, and don't go too wide as well. Aim for 2 more deep breaths, yogis, if you can. Breathe deep. That's it. If you find looking towards the knee is a little bit tricky, just look down towards that right foot. Aim to look down towards the foot. Well done, yogis. Let's come all the way up slowly. Pull the tummy muscles in. Release the hands. And then we're going to go for a side bend. So let's zigzag the back foot out ever so slightly. Keep the front knee bent. And rest your right hand on this shelf-like thigh, the right thigh, palm facing upwards. Right earlobe and the right shoulder are nicely apart. I'm going to let this left arm hang like a heavy rope in front of it. Let it just swing in front of it. That's it. Keep that right knee as bent as you can. Good. And as you breathe in, take it up, pin it towards the top here. This is called a strong sort of side angle. I was going to say intense, but we don't have to make it intense. The main aim is to keep the front of the body open. So if you can, just rotate the chest a little bit and look towards the ceiling if that's comfortable. If it isn't, look towards the floor. Keep the front of the body open. Enjoy the fact that you're lengthening and creating space in the left side of the body. Left side is lovely and free, as is the heart center. If you're trying to look up towards that see-through elbow, towards the see-through. Aim for 2 more deep breaths, please. It's a great thing to stretch the side body, creating a little bit of space. You're all twisting. I want you to hold yourself. Hold that Carla for a breath. Get an idea of the pose. Well done, yogis. Come up on the next inhale. Excellent. Nicely done. Okay. Just come back to Tadasana, Laura. Laura, that's it. Look towards me. We stand back in Tadasana, feet slightly apart. Shoulders back, yogis. And just for 1 or 2 deep breaths, just check in with that right side. That's the side we've worked for a few minutes. Just notice, how does it feel in comparison to the left? There may not be a lot of difference yet. Just notice physically, does the right side feel a little heavier? Left side might feel a bit lighter, particularly in the leg. That's some area of work, but it's just a moment to pause in our mindful yoga and just check in with left and right. Take advantage of just some deep breaths here, all the way down to our heels. Just checking in with the right side, comparing that very gently with the left. And then we're going to go into the left side now and do all of those stretches on the left. So triangle. Let's go wide yogis again. This time we're going to take the left foot out, the right foot's turned forwards. And again, just remind yourself, we're going to work your left side now. Arms to shoulder height when you're ready. Make sure they're level. Breath in. Let's take the left hand either above or below that left knee. Of course, you can go lower if you feel you can. Do rest the left hand on the shin or thigh. And then just look up towards the right palm. Have it facing forwards and make sure the right shoulder is very much in alignment. You haven't thrown the arm back. But if looking up is tricky this evening, feel free to look forwards or down towards that leading foot, the left foot, if that's easier. Keep a micro bend in that front knee if you need to. We're doing that left side. Touch your left leg was forwards. And the right, yeah, we're going to the left. Don't worry, don't worry. Bend your left knee, Carla. That's it. And look up. Is that your right hand? Yeah. And you do the right. Yeah, you're good. Just have the palm facing forward to the raised arm. That's lovely. Yeah. Aim for 1 or 2 more deep breaths, yogis, but again, listen to your body. If you're tired, if there's a little bit of pain or discomfort, feel free to ease off any time. Up to 5 breaths if that's comfortable, but again, you decide this evening. Should we come up together? Let's pull the tummy muscles in, soften the knee joint, raise the arms, and relax. And all we need to do to go into that warrior is actively pick the back leg up and turn it in. So we should be facing our left leg now. What we've done is turn the right foot in. Can I ask you, yogis, to bend the front knee a little bit and make sure the back heel is anchored down. Again, it sounds obvious. And don't run the risk of going too wide yet because you could lose your balance, okay? So the back foot's turned out. Take your hips, make sure they're square to the front of the left leg. Shoulders facing. Take a second, but it's worth doing. Then we're ready. You can bend the front knee. Can we still see the top of the toes? First and second, ideally, or the top of your sock. Now you're ready. Let's sweep the arms up on that inhalation. Arms can be facing or arms together if you can. And we look up and gently back. Do remember this is a back bend, so if you've got low back issues, take care. Think about stretching from the belly up to the throat. Slowly, don't worry. Bend the front knee a bit more. That's it. It's more straight. Oh, yeah. Very cute. Pleasure. One, maybe two more deep breaths, yogis. You decided. I often say, if the pose is feeling good, linger there a little longer. If it isn't, come out when you need to. Two-way stretch, the front of the body all reaching up towards the sky, bottom half of the body anchored down. Well done, yogis. Now, when you're ready, we release the arms, we take them behind us again, interlace, if we can, holding onto either the elbows or further down towards the wrists if that's less tight. And again, we're going to fold forwards from our hips. It's this action from our hips. So very gently. If you've got low back issues, keep that micro bend in front of me. Start to fold over that leg. Now, try not to claw the toes. Keep them soft and long. The brain of the foot is said to be our big toe. So let's spread the big toe. Nice music. Good. How do you like it? Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep lowering down as far as you can. Anybody find that they're perhaps more flexible on one side? I certainly can. Anybody notice that? Yeah, notice. Sometimes we may notice we can just fold that a little further forwards. Now, again, watch that low back. Keep the front knee bent. If you can, straighten both legs. You will deepen the hamstring stretch. But again, go gently, yogis. Relax the crown of the head. You're looking towards, that's it, your thighs. So we don't want the back of the neck to suffer. How long you stay? Well, up to 5 deep breaths, or a little less if you wish to. When you're ready to come out of it, again, bend the front knee, pull the tummy muscles in, rise up slowly. Release the hands. Well done, yogis. Nicely done. Now, again, because we're going to just very gently turn or zigzag that back leg out and come into the side bend. So can you see I've zigzagged the back foot out, I bend the front knee, I rest my left hand and my left forearm on the left hand. Again, left palm uppermost. Nice gap between my heel and my shoulder. And we swing the right arm. Okay? We swing back. And then we reach up and over. Back into that side bend. Now this side of the body may feel quite different. Remind your body it's on the side bend. Bring the top elbow towards the top ear as best you can. Create space in that side body. So the top arm we bring over towards the ear. That's it. It's a side bend, yogis, remember? Good. Go easy, but enjoy the stretch. Aim for 2 more deep breaths. Remember, it's absolutely fine to ease off if it's feeling really strong. Yeah, that's a good indication that maybe you're tired. Get to you. One more full breath here, yogis, if that's comfortable. Excellent. Nicely done. Come up when you're ready on an inhalation. Ooh, exhale, relax. Good work. Let's come back to Tadasana. That's our little pausing pose. Toes and ankles facing forwards. Roll those shoulders back. Give yourself a moment. Just let the left side catch up with the right side. Before we move on, we can use this pose just to check in with the breathing. You can even the weight out through the feet, so it's a moment of recentering. Just notice any thoughts or sensations. Standing and breathing, simple thing, and yet pretty tricky when we ask our bodies to do this. Well done, yogis. Lovely. Now we're going to use, I hope we've got enough wall space. We can maybe use the pillars or this space here, because we're going to do the yoga clock. The yoga clock. And I'm just going to show you here what we're going to do. So grab some water, rest for a moment. Yogis at home, hopefully you can see. I'm just going to demonstrate before we do it together, okay? So if you just want to watch, I get as close, you could do this with a tree. You could do it against any sort of wall at home. So I want to get as close to that wall as I can. Toes and ankles facing forwards. I don't want the hips to be twisted. And I take my hand. They'll be wondering what we're doing this soon, won't they? So up to 12 o'clock. And the idea is that I get this lovely stretch in my shoulder all down to the waist. And we hold that for about 5 breaths. Then the other part of the pose is that I'm going to turn, so I get a neck stretch and look towards the opposite shoulder now. Flick the fingers up, that adds a really nice stretch to that side of my neck. Hold for several breaths. Come away after you can see that one arm is longer. But it's absolutely fine, it's just stretch. So it's lovely. So there's all this space, and I can move my mat. There's some wall space, so people at the back, all you need is a little bit of a pillar. Okay, so find a bit of space. This is nice to do. Here, go to the side, or wherever you do that. Back, I could do bed. Mark, there's space here. You'd like to? Or would you like to go? Not probably the mirrors up there. Probably best to use this space. You could use the other side of that pillar. So I want you to get really close to the wall. Yeah, go just here.
I'm going here.
I'll be ready in a minute, Laura. That's it. Get close to the wall. Carla, if you could come a bit further forward.
Yeah.
That's it. Mark, you come so you can get close to the wall. Okay. So one hip and thigh is fairly close. And take your arm, the inside arm, to 12 o'clock. Think of a yoga clock. Gaze straight ahead, have the feet slightly apart, yogis. Just hold that for several deep breaths. Look forwards, Laura, if you can.
Sorry.
See you in yogis. That's it. Then you're turning the head gently. Everybody just look towards the opposite shoulder. Be careful. And flick the fingers up with the outside hand. Can you all feel a gentle stretch in the neck? If you don't want to look towards the opposite shoulder, if that's too strong, just keep looking ahead. Hold and breathe. This is a beautiful stretch for your shoulders and the side body. Do it, as I say, at home, you needed a little bit of wall space. That's it. Look towards that opposite shoulder, but make sure the neck likes that. 1 or 2 more deep breaths, yogis. We call this a yoga clock. Lovely. Exhale, release. If you can turn to somebody and just look so that they can see your arms lengthen. Just have a look, ladies. See if one arm is longer. Come out. Turn towards Mark. Can you see that? A little bit longer. Yeah, a little bit longer. You're not strange. Nobody's odd. That's just yoga. Try the other side. Yes, a little bit, Laura. Definitely. There, girls. You sure? Okay. Well, let's try the other side. Get close to the wall. Hips facing forwards. Have the feet slightly apart. Get comfy. Now, as you take this arm up, is anybody noticing they've got more flexibility on one side? Anybody notice that? Again, just let yourself settle there. Enjoy the stretch. Call this yoga clock. And then very gently, if it's comfortable, turn the head carefully to look towards the opposite shoulder and flick the fingers up with that outside hand until you can feel a stretch. But go gently. If there's any discomfort, keep looking ahead. Hold for 3 deep breaths. So you can look towards the shoulder. Hold again for 1 or 2 deep breaths. Remember, you can release. wherever you need to. Please, please don't strain. But enjoy another breath here if you can. And release. Turn to your neighbour. It's important you can have a look, see if their arms are a little bit more level now. Let's turn towards each other. Yes, a little bit even. You feel how long it is. Yeah. Brilliant. I'll have a look for you, Laura. Let's have a look. Mr. and Mrs. Tickle, yeah. Brilliant. So a lovely stretch. Please let's go back to our mats. Thank you. At home, it's what you can do if you found 12 o'clock. Sorry. If you found 12 o'clock quite easy, you can go to 1 and you can go to 2 and you can go to 3. It's quite strong. Well, next week we'll try that, but I want to get a little bit more shoulder work in. So I see a lot of people who have, how many people work in an office here? People work for an office. 1, 2. Anybody else have to do a lot of driving or just a lot of sitting? Okay, we all have issues with our shoulders. So this is called, this is lovely. Even if you don't do a lot of driving and sitting, you may be classically tight here. Many of us are in the West. Long periods of sitting as well when we were children at school. So we're going to do the eagle stretch. So we have the feet slightly apart. I have a lovely one for the shoulders. So feet hip width apart, arms shoulder height. Can I ask you to cross right elbow over left? Right over left. And then bend your elbows. And if you can, try to bring the palms together. If you can't, then just maybe tip a thumb and little finger of alternate hands. So if you can press the palms together, have a go, or just bring the fingers together. And if that's too strong, make 2 loose fists. There's always an option. Okay, now, you stay where you are, yogis. I turn myself to the side. I want you to just bring the elbows up a little bit so they're in alignment, ideally with the nose. Can you feel those hard to reach areas in between the shoulder blades? Talking to you now. Often that's tight, and it isn't everybody. Well, we're going to go for a little circle. So I want you to breathe in. Turn to your right. Exhale, bend your knees and draw a circle with me really slowly all the way around to the left and come all the way back up to center. Now that's 1. We're going to do 3 of those. Now as you inhale, go again to your right. Take the arms forward, bend the knees, pull the tummy muscles in to engage them. Nice big circle and all the way up. Brilliant. Do 1 more slowly to your right. Inhale, bend those knees as you come down, look after your low back. Good. Exhale, all the way up. That's brilliant. Now we do 3 times to the left. Here we go. Inhale, bend those knees like a big circle you're trying to draw. Open the arms, take them wide if you can. Good. All the way up. And 2 more of those if you can. The reason we bend our knees and pull the tummy muscles in is again to look after and provide the back with some insurance. Good. And 1 more. Don't forget to breathe. Lovely. Pause there, take a breath. And then release your wings. And it may feel quite nice just to roll the shoulders forwards and back a few times. Because guess what, folks, we've got to do the other side. Roll forwards and back. Just create, bless you, a little bit of space here in these tight spots. So let's take the arms to shoulder height again. Going to cross one left arm over right this time. Make it different for us. If you can, bring the palms together, press them. If you can't, perhaps thumbs touching. Do what you can. Again, raise the elbows. So it's as if we're trying to raise those inner elbows towards our nose. Anybody tighter on this side? Left side. About the same. Just take a breath, as if you could breathe into those hard to reach areas in between the shoulder blades. Let's go to the left firstly. Here we go. Turn to the left slowly. Inhale, bend those knees, open the arms, take them wide, big circle, and back up. And we do that twice more. So the Breathing in as we sweep down. Breathing out, we come back up. Good. Once more to your left, yogis, take the time. Inhale, we go down. Exhale, we come up. Good. And then 3 times to your right. So although we've got the knees, the rest of the body is relatively still. I want you to, and I know it's not easy, yogis, but the movement comes from the upper body. Do bend those knees. Good. We call these eagle circles. Good. Once more if you can. Again, take your time. Fabulous. Well done. And then take a breath here. Breathe into those tight spots. Excellent. Release the arms. Ooh. Roll them back several times. Just notice if that area feels a little less tight. Roll them forwards. Don't get crestfallen if that was really tight. Most people find that really tight. Well done. And shake it out, yogis. There's one more I'd like us to do of the shoulder work. And this can be done kneeling or standing. I think probably for ease, we'll do it standing. So I want you to just again come to Tadasana, roll the shoulders back, give yourself a moment here, recenter. Excuse my back, so I can show you the pose from behind. We're going to wrap our right arm around the back and take the fingers of the left hand and interlace. And I'm going to draw the right arm across as much as I can, but just sort of palms together. We're going to look forwards. We want to keep the space between the shoulders. And then we're going to turn the head carefully to look over the opposite shoulder. So our arms have gone one way. Again, just looking down towards the floor or towards that shoulder for a gentle neck stretch. Hold that for 3 breaths if you can. If you find the neck feels uncomfortable, you can keep just looking forwards and just focus on opening those shoulders. Breathe. Breathe in, bring the head back to the center, and release, roll the shoulders back. If you've ever had a small child or a toddler, pick them up, have them on your hip, that's what causes all this tightness. So it's a little bit like untying some tightness in these areas, or lots of bags. You know, if you're one of those people that just carries a lot of bags, think about this as opening up those areas. Should we try the other side? So this time, it's the left arm that comes round, the right hand interlaces. And just sort of stand there and just relax into it. Anybody more open on one side at all? Notice that. So again, settle here, and then if we wish to, we can turn the head to look towards the opposite shoulder. Down towards, and do just tuck your chin in a little bit, yogi, so that again the neck just is softening a little bit. Almost imagine you had a really ripe peach underneath the chin. So as you tuck the chin in, you don't want to bruise the soft root. You just want to hold it there. And again, just enjoy a couple of deep breaths here. Lovely neck and shoulder release. This can be done seated, kneeling, or as we're doing standing. It's a very versatile pose. And we're going to breathe in together. Just bring the head back to the central position. Work, shake it out. Really good if you know you've got a lot of paperwork to do and you're going to be sort of punched forwards. It's lovely, it's so releasing. And again, just notice that this area feels a bit. Everybody okay? It's time to come down, but not yet. That downward dog, lengthen the sides of our body. So let's come down, completely different pose now, an inversion, but your neck, I hope, and the lengthening you've achieved will provide you with a lovely stretch. So come on down, yogis, coming on to all fours. Now, if you're tired, feel free to just rest and pose a child. Have your blocks quite near to you, because in a minute we'll use those for our head breaths. Laura, you're going to come into downward dog. You counting
Yes.
everybody. Thank you very much. So we're coming to tabletop. Now, as yet, we haven't done much for our spines in terms of warming. So I want you to tuck your toes under and just do a few rounds of cat-cow with me. Start with your wrists underneath your shoulders, but then if your wrists start to get sore or heavy, feel free to take them a little further forwards. But we begin in what we call a tabletop. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath the hips. So we, again, resemble a tabletop. So we're going to exhale. Bring the chin to the chest, plug the tummy muscles in, and arch the spine like an angry cat. As we're ready to inhale, we dip the spine, lift the chin and look along the floor ahead of the body. The arms stay straight. We're going to do 6 more rounds. A breath in and out, yogis, is 1 round, so 6 more. Exhale, chin to chest, pull the tummy muscles in, as if you're a cat, arching, angry cat. Inhale, dip the spine, those arms straight, lift the chin and the heart, look along the floor. That's lovely. 4 more slowly. I always describe this like mercury in a tube. Your spine's like it's moving more efficiently up and down the spine. And it's a lovely way to improve the circulation in the spine. Again, if you're doing a lot of driving, a lot of sitting, it's quite nice to do a few minutes of these every morning to get the spine warm and energized. If there's any discomfort in the low back, feel free to stop. It's also a nice prelude to downward dog, the next pose. Just 1 or 2 more yogis. Remember, 1 round is a breath in and out, so 1 or 2 more rounds in your own time and at your pace. There's no rush. So let's just do 1 more together as a group. And come to stillness. With your toes tucked under, you're ready to go into downward dog. Can I ask you to just push your buttocks back a little towards the heels so that you can look clearly at your hands and spread the weight evenly across the hands, but load the weight equally into the palms as well. So all of the fingers are facing up, thumbs are slightly turned in. So here we go. We're going to breathe in and go up. The giraffe pose is where we bring the hands and the feet closer to one another. So our hands and feet are quite short, quite close to one another. And then we walk this dog by padding one heel back on the inhale and the other heel back and down on the exhale. Our arms are strong. We're looking towards our upper thighs. So again, the back of the head and neck are nice and relaxed. And just hold and breathe for another 3 or 4 deep breaths. So hold and breathe deeply into the pose, walking the dog, padding one heel back on the inhale. That's it. Ease into it gently. When you get tired, come down onto all fours. But again, if it's feeling a good stretch, linger there a little longer if you can. When you're ready to come down, exhale back onto all fours. Well done. Grab that block, bring the knees together. And it's important to have a headrest if you need it. The head, if it can't touch the floor, it's nice to have a headrest. Bring the arms around, drape them around the body so your shoulders release. And rest the forehead. What is known as pose of child. Oh. The back is relaxed. Make this lovely dome-like shape with your spine. Nurturing, restorative, relaxing. Just take 5 slow breaths here. We're almost coming to the end of tonight's practice, so let's just pause and check in with our breathing. The shoulders sink down as best you can. Soften them away from the hips. Most of all, yogis just enjoy several resting breaths. Let's take another deep breath in and out here, yogis. Okay, I'm going to finish with a nice, wide-legged stretching pose of Child's. Can I ask you to come up? Do keep your blocks in front of you if you need to. And just a nice little stretch to finish with, and then we'll go into relaxation. So from where you were, yogis, I'll move that just out of the way so I can show you. But have your block close by in case you need it again for your head. You come back into tabletop. This time I'm going to stretch my left leg out, aim to have the toes facing forwards, so spreading the toes. I take my right foot, tuck the toes under, and then to make this even stronger on the inner groin and thigh of the left leg, I take that right foot out. Can you see that, yogis? Then if I need that block, it's there as I stretch my arms out. If you want to make this stronger, keep taking the right foot slightly out to the side to encourage the inner thigh stretch. It's quite strong, arms are straight. Press down through the four corners of the left foot. That's the front of the foot, the heel, and each side of the foot. And just get that lovely stretch. Be very careful. Your inner left thigh should be talking to you now. Anybody notice that? No. So go gently. If you can manage without the block and your forehead comes down to the floor, brilliant. But you may need one or two blocks there just in case. Lovely. You will feel your inner thigh talking to you, yogis. Yes. So again, go gently. It's not an area we stretch even in yoga very often. It can get so easily disregarded. Just one or two more deep breaths. You're doing well. Nice one to try at home to hold for about 10 breaths. But again, we need to do both sides. So just one more full breath here. Excellent, lovely. Come up slowly. Watch those socks, girls. We do it splits before you know it. Yeah, if you've got socks on, be careful because your foot's coming off the floor and it may slide. Okay. Should we try the other side? Yeah. Wide-legged pose. So you take your right leg out and take a bit of time to open and fan the toes. Toes want to be facing forwards and up. Again, keep the arch nice and strong. If you want to make it stronger, you walk the left foot out to the left side gently. Tuck the toes under or have the foot flat. And that's where, again, that block may come in handy. Stretch the arms forwards, forehead down. Now, these are strong poses. So keep the right foot anchored into the floor, the toes facing up, forward, should I say. Anybody tighter on one side? Yeah. Okay. But again, often, yeah, you're noticing it on some people, outer buttock and thigh. But it's that inner thigh stretch that we're going for. Aim for 3 more deep breaths. Lovely pose, but strong. So again, yogis at home, take care. Just notice those differences. And go gently into it, don't overstretch. Come up and release. Well done. And again, that's worth doing without socks on because socks do make the foot slide a little. So just take care. Well done, yogis. It's 1:45 just gone. I like you when you're ready, just to come onto your backs again. Draw your knees in. And again, just soften that low back. Rock a little if you wish to. We're going to go into relaxation for a few minutes. We can start till about 10 to 2. So we're going to have a couple of minutes in relaxation. So do feel free to grab a blanket if you want. Get your socks and layers back on. We've got the remote, I think, a nice temperature. but your body temperature comes down after movement. So it's always quite nice to grab a layer or bring a fleece or blanket if you wish to. We want comfort when we go into relaxation. Bring a small blanket with you, or just got a fleece if you feel you need to. So we're going into relaxation now, yogis. And we'll just have a few minutes quietly lying down. So get comfy. Comfort is key. As I say, if you're new to this practice or this yoga, we do suggest bringing a blanket or a little fleece or something just to keep you warm when we go to relaxation. And again, take a moment to fidget. Make sure you're really comfy. If you're comfortable, you'll be able to slip into your relaxation effortlessly. So our eyes are closed. I want you to turn the palms uppermost towards the ceiling and have the arms, if you can, away from the body. And either bending the knees, if that's more comfortable for your legs and low back, or extending the legs on the floor. Again, find what works for you. But do make sure you're comfortable. Well, let's just for a moment return our awareness to the breath. Let's just take a moment to connect back with that breath. Soft, steady breath. Allowing the body to become quiet and still. So we're going to do a peaceful mind relaxation. Takes a few minutes and can flip the switch from stress to serenity. So as you breathe in, yogis, as you next breathe in, simply think of your head. And as you breathe out, think of the chest. So as we inhale, we simply think of the head. And as we exhale, we think of the chest. We enjoy that process, head to chest, for another 8 slow breaths. This is that process of getting any excess head energy out of the head by lowering it down into the body. So as we inhale, we simply think of the head. As we exhale, we think of the chest. Just for another few deep breaths, using those 2 focal points to breathe in and out. Head to chest. Then we're going to shift the focus to breathe into the chest and out, lower back and kidney area. So inhale into the chest, exhale into low back and kidney area. And as you exhale into low back and kidney area, dissolving any hardness and tension as you exhale into low back and kidney area. So our focal point now is chest to low back. Enjoying that process for another 8 slow breaths in your own time. Chest to low back and kidney area. Remember, as you exhale into low back and kidney area, removing any tightness, any hardness, allowing the breath to simply dissolve into that area as best you can. And finally, yogis, finally, going to inhale into low back and kidney area and out through the soles of the feet. This time we're going to inhale into the low back and out through the soles of your feet. And again, as you exhale out through the soles of the feet, taking any tiredness, any fatigue, anything that doesn't serve you well, breathe it out through the soles of your feet, allowing it to dissolve and dissipate any of that tension and fatigue. Finally, breathe into low back and out through the soles of the feet. And again, enjoy that process. Several more deep breaths. Take your time, there's no rush. Breathing into low back and out through the soles of your feet. Finally, yogis, just gently notice the textures of your mind compared to when we started. So with this peaceful mind relaxation, taking a moment just to notice the textures of your mind compared to when we started. And slowly and gently, I'm going to take the awareness now back to the fingers and toes and just start to give them an affectionate little wiggle. Fingers and toes. Gently move. Become aware of the digits of the fingers and toes once more. And as you open and stretch them, just notice if they feel a little looser. Perhaps you're just more aware of them. Do the same gently with your wrists and ankles. And as you rotate them, are they more open and loose now? Again, you're just more aware. Just starting to think about stretching and unfolding your body in any way that feels good. Perhaps a little stretch and yawn. Take your time. Just unfold your body in any way that feels good. Gently coming back from the inner world, back to the outer world, more revitalized. Be a little more calm and fresh. Again, just check in with how you now feel. When you're ready, but only when you're ready, just come up to sitting and we'll close our practice together, yogis. So just take your time, come up slowly, comfortable seated position. Welcome back, everybody. Yourself a moment just to gently come back. Bring our hands, if we wish to the prayer position. Just a moment to wish ourselves and all beings well. Take a moment to wish yourselves and wish all beings well if you wish to. May you all go well. Shanti, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, yogis. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, subterranean. Okay, thank you, yogis, and thank you at home.